Hey everyone, welcome to today's webinar. We're going to be going over a very specific piece of AI technology that you can use in your dental office right away to increase your new patients and to streamline some operations that you have. One of the things that is going on right now in this world of AI is that there's a new subject developing and it's called prompt engineering. And this is basically how you write prompts to talk to AI to get it to do what you want it to do. So this is just like um, a decade ago when people were learning how to use Google to search for the products and the services that they're looking for. Right now, there's a new subject called prompt engineering where you're going to learn how to write prompts to AI to get the answers that you're looking for. Because just like with a Google search, if you're not doing the search query in the right way and you're not writing the right things or you make it confusing, then you're not going to get a good answer from Google. And in the same way, if you're not writing your prompts correctly, you're not going to get good answers from AI. So, in today's webinar, what we're going to go over is the specific steps that you take to write an excellent prompt so that you get the answers that you're looking for. So, with that, the first thing I want to talk about is before you're writing a prompt, the first thing that has to happen is that you have to have an idea of what you want to occur. You need a strategy. A strategy is what you come up with that lays out the plan of where you're headed. This is like when you're making a trip to go somewhere, you first have to decide where you want to go before you figure out how to get there, right? The first thing you have to do is decide that I want to take a trip to Chicago. And then once you've decided you're going to Chicago, then you can take a look at, well, how do I get to Chicago? Am I going to go by train, by plane, by car? How much gas will it cost? How much will I need to get there that way? Where am I going to stay? And you get into all these details. But if you don't ever decide you're going to Chicago, all the rest of those details are kind of pointless, right? You got to decide where you're going first, and then you can work out the tactical steps of how to get there. So, uh, the first thing to do is to have a strategy in place, right? And so, a lot of people have a strategy in their business that they want to expand, and they have a plan on how to do that or a plan on how to achieve that goal. So, I want to make sure that while we're going to go over these steps today on how to write a prompt for best results, I want to make sure that this is based on a strategy that you have for your business and your practice to expand. And later in the webinar, we're going to go over the link where you can book a strategy call with me, and we will go over making sure that you have a plan and a strategy in place for you to grow and achieve your goals. And there'll be a link down in the section below here. So today, once we get a strategy, then we're going to use AI to help us achieve that strategy. With a clear intention and the right prompt, AI becomes a powerful tool, right? If you don't have a clear intention or you have a clear intention, but you don't have the right prompt, you're going to get bad answers from AI. You're not going to get what you're looking for. So you got to have both of those factors in place. The first thing is you have to have a clear intention of what you're going for. You have to have a strategy. And then from there, you have to write the prompts correctly. And that's when you get AI to become a powerful tool. So there's a few steps here. There's a mnemonic device that we can use to kind of help remind us how to write a prompt for ChatGPT or Grok or Gemini or whichever one it is that you're using, which is to thoughtfully create really excellent inputs. This is the mnemonic that Google provides in its paid AI training course. You're getting all the secrets here for free, no gatekeeping, without having to pay Google for this course. And so you're going to thoughtfully create really excellent inputs. And that stands for making sure that your prompts have a task, context, references, you evaluate the answer, and you iterate after you get that answer. And we're going to go over examples on each of these steps, but that's the overview of where we're going to be going today in this training. So the first thing I want to take up is we're going to go over the task. So, step before you even begin, you have a strategy, right? You have a strategy that, let's say you want to expand your business and get more new patients, and you want to use Google to get more new patients into your office, right? This is a fairly common goal. People want to get more new patients. Google's a great way to achieve that target. So, one of the things that I see people not doing the most, like the most missed subject that I see in the subject of SEO, getting new patients from Google, there's one thing that I see people missing more than any others that really impacts how they show up in their search rankings. And that is going to be ignoring the Google business profile. That is the number one mistake that I see businesses make, is that they do not pay attention to the Google business profile and do the steps that need to be done on that on a regular basis enough, right? So this is an example, and I have pulled up here on these slides. This is an example of a dentist that we are working with in St. Louis, and we did some work on their Google business profile. Um, One of the things that you can see is on the top left, on the left here on this slide, you're going to see St. Louis Dental Studio. It's got their star ratings, the amount of reviews they have. In the middle section there, you see the reviews. And I put it this way in a slide. It's usually the top, middle, and bottom is how that would work when you're looking at the whole page of the Google business profile. And at the bottom there, you see that there are these posts. And this is the number one thing I see people missing is that they're not doing regular posts to their Google business profile. And this is vital in your business and in your office that you're interacting with Google the same way that you'd be making posts on Instagram or Facebook. This is a key thing that Google likes to see to show that you're connected and you're adding content regularly. And so you can see there, we're adding these posts about every 2 weeks. There's at least a post getting added there, besides all the different sections being filled out of the Google business profile. And I want to go over the results of this here is that we have here 2,589 people viewed this Google business profile, which was a 412% increase over the previous year, just by optimizing that profile and updating those posts on their Google business profile. One of the reasons this is so important is that your interaction with your Google business profile is one of the most important factors you can do to get yourself ranked in the map pack. When you're doing a Google search result, you're going to see sponsored ads. And the next thing is going to be the map pack, where there's the map and then the 3 businesses right below it. The best way to get ranking high in that map pack is working with your Google business profile. So the more you're making those posts, the higher you're getting. I would say in 2025, your Google business profile is more important than some of the pages on your website. The reason for that is that people are typing in their phones, dentist near me, broken tooth, I need a dentist today. And they're typing that in Google and they're seeing those map results and they see, oh, here's a dentist that's a half a mile from me with 4.9 stars. And they click the call button and the phone's ringing. They never even see your website. So people are searching for things that you can help them with. They're searching for those problems of broken tooth, emergencies, looking for dentists in network with certain dental insurances that you're in network with. And they're searching for those. And we want your practice to come up in that map pack. And they don't even visit your website. They just go right there. They see 4.9 stars. Bam, they're calling and they're on the phone with your front desk. So this is really important. You can see here, so that by utilizing the Google business profile fully and adding these posts, we ended up with a 400% increase year over year on views to that business profile. And we ended up with a 500% increase on searches that showed the business profile. So it showed up 500% more times. So those are some good, that's a really good tool right off the bat here, is that I want you to take a look at your Google business profile and find out if you are making those posts and if you're making those posts regularly, because those should be coming out at least every 2 weeks to really make sure you're ranking well. This Google business profile post is a task. This is something you have a strategy. You want to grow your business. You want more new patients from Google. A specific task is that you are going to now post to your Google business profile, right? And so when you're pulling up ChatGPT, Grok, Perplexity, whatever AI tool it is that you're using, you're going to want to give the AI tool that task. You're going to say, create 4 Google business profile posts for my dental office. And that's an example of a task that you're going to give to AI to use, okay? So that's the first thing. The most important spot is you're going to give it a task of telling it exactly what you want it to do. If you don't tell AI what you want it to do, you're not going to get anything. So that's the first thing, is you give it a task. And this example task is that you are going to create Google business profile posts for my office. Great. All right, so now I want to move on to the next subject. Once you give it a task, right, the next step is context. You're going to add context to that prompt, okay? So one of the ways that you can use context is to describe your target audience or to describe the service that you're doing. You're going to give it some reference points, right? your office is different than someone else's office down the street. Why is that? What makes your office different than another office? What type of patient are you looking to attract? Right? So some context could be Chat GPT. I need 4 Google Business Profile posts. Okay, that's a task. Now let's add some context. I need 4 Google Business Profile posts for my dental office that specializes in implant dentistry. Instantly, there's more context, and the results you're going to get from AI is going to be better because it's now about the context that you have. Or I'm looking for patients looking for implants within a 5-mile radius of Sacramento, California. You're going to pick different ways to add context to that task, right? And up here on the slides, we have some examples here of different ways that you can add context to a post or add context to a prompt so that you can get a better post out of it, right? So just like if you're explaining a task to somebody, even you're talking to your dental assistant, right? You can say to get me this tool, right? Or you can add some context. Get me this tool because we're going to go do X, Y, and Z, right? And that person's going to get a better outcome with more context. They're going to understand what it is that they're doing and why, or they're going to know, hey, give me that tool now. Now is a little bit more context. Shows that there's urgency and we need that, right? And so that's different than like, see if you can get around to it by the end of the day, right? That's another context for a task. So whether you're talking to someone in your office or you're talking to AI, you need to provide that context when you're giving a task. Okay, so here, the next spot I want to go over is references, right? So once you've given a task and you've added context, you're going to add references. And what I like to think about for references, or a good way to start on that, is to look at what's the ideal outcome that you're looking for. What do you want it to look like in the end? Or what's a great example of one that you've already seen, right? Um, and so sometimes you could start with in your area, pulling up ChatGPT and saying, hey, what is the most popular dental website in my city? Okay. And you're going to get an answer from that. And you can look at that as a reference point. What makes this site popular? You can ask, different AI tools. Different AI tools have different levels of complexity and integrations, and different amounts of depths of research that can happen in terms of why is that site as popular as it is? Why is it getting the results that it's getting? And so by finding out maybe a reference site of a site, hey, this is a really great site in my area, or maybe this is a really great site in New York that's doing really well. What are they doing really well that I could implement in my own site? What could I do to make my site better, right? And you can add a reference. So now we are not just saying a task, AI, give me 4 Google Business Profile posts. We're adding context. We're saying for my dental office, focusing on dental implants in Sacramento, California. And we're going to use references. We're going to say, hey, I saw this other Google Business Profile that was doing great, and I really liked what they were doing. Reference Jones Dental, right? And you're going to give it another example of something to go take a look at and see, why is that one doing well? Why is that one doing better? And you're going to give it a reference of what you want it to look like or what you would like to see, right? Okay, so one of the things that we'd done recently was we took an office that had another dental practice that they were looking at that they wanted to emulate, or they wanted to be like. They saw they were getting great results. And so we did a deep dive on what are they doing that's working? What's going so well there? And what we did was we found these specific things they were doing, right? And we created an organic content campaign using AI. And within 1 month, we went from 85 referring domains to 98. So there was a 15% increase. Backlinks went up 21%, right? And what happened there is we almost doubled the monthly visits to the site by taking this analysis that we did of who is crushing it, who is killing it, what are they doing that's so awesome, understanding that, and then replicating it for this doctor's office. And so that's a great step there. So you give it a task, right? You add some context and you add some references. Now we're making a real post or we're making a real prompt that AI is going to be able to give you the feedback that you're looking for. Okay, now that you've written a great task with references and context, you're going to get an outcome, okay? And that's the spot where now you need to evaluate, okay? I pulled up a slide here. This is an example of I wrote a task with references. and context, asking for an image of something. And you can see in these images, a lot of these are wildly not what I'm looking for, right? Um, and I thought about this in terms of this image, right? Because it's like you don't want the robot totally controlling the car just yet. I know there's some auto driving things. That's fine, whatever. In this case, in marketing, we do not want to let AI just totally take the wheel yet. It's not there. It's a great tool, but you still have to take a look at, um, is this outcome what I want, right? And if it's not, then we're going to go into the next step after this. But AI is not great at determining, is this a good idea, right? That is not something AI can do yet. It's not asking, is this a good idea? Should I do this? It's going to do whatever you're prompting it, and it's going to try, but it's not going to be perfect. And so whenever you get a response back from AI, it's your job is going to be to evaluate that result that comes out. Okay. And determine if that one is a good answer or not. And so that's really the key, right? You can give AI a lot of jobs, but the one job it can't do is this a good idea? So we want to avoid handing over the reins to AI and let it determine if it thinks it's a good idea or not. Okay, so we got a task, we've added context, we've added references, you've gotten your answer, and now you've evaluated the result. Is this what I'm looking for? Is it not what I'm looking for? This is a spot where you might think, this is too wordy. This isn't wordy enough. This is too friendly. This is unprofessional. I would like it actually to be a little bit more casual. Um, and you're kind of evaluating those results that you're getting, right? So that's that next step. And so once you've evaluated the results, the next step is to iterate. Okay. Don't give up. You've heard if at first you don't succeed, try again. Well, in this case, if at first you don't succeed, try something different. Okay. So you're going to take a look at what was the outcome that I got from this prompt, right? And then you're going to take a look at, well, what did I want to have happen? And then you can take a look at, okay, I got this outcome. It's not exactly what I wanted. I wanted something more like this. And then you can take a look at your prompt that you wrote and say, maybe I see where I missed on something. Actually, I need to include this information. And then you can try again with a new prompt and you can iterate on that, right? That's going to be your next step, is to iterate every time after you've evaluated the output. It's either what you want, awesome, great, move on, or not quite, tweak it a little bit. Make a change. Maybe it needs more context. Maybe it needs more references. Maybe we need to more clearly define the task. And so these are the steps that you take to create optimum AI responses, is that you have to give this information and you have to take these steps to get the answers that you want to get. Now, we've gone over some different steps here on how to use AI to get the results that you want in this setting. And specifically, I gave a task, right, to use this for your Google Business Profile posts. Take these 5 steps and apply it for that. Now, some business owners and some dentists like to do this on their own. One of the things I know about successful dentists and successful people in general is that they like shortcuts. If there's a way that they can remove time from a process, they want to do that. I've gone over this really briefly. There is a lot of work that goes into this. There is a lot of iteration and evaluation that goes into creating a marketing campaign and a strategy for a dental office to hit the goals and the expansion that you want to hit. If you're one of those people that's looking to take time out of a process to get it going faster, then I want to make sure that you book that call with me to go over the strategy session so you can let me and my team take care of this part so that you can focus on what you do best as a dentist while we handle the AI interactions and the marketing targets. And there should be a link here for you to click to book that time with me. All right. Okay. And here I'm going to give you this case study here. And so iteration, right? So there was a dentist in Clayton, Missouri, and she'd been in business for years, and the practice year over year was declining. Okay. She partnered with us to overhaul her marketing. She'd been through countless marketing agencies and approaches with mixed or little results. We studied the area. We located the right triggers in her area, and her practice turned around and started to grow year after year until she exited the practice. Part of the numbers that we hit on this were over 297% increase in new patients and 253% increase in practice revenue. So these are real results that we get when working with dentists in the real world here. All right. So why choose dental ads and SEO for AI-driven growth, right? If you're one of those guys that's decided, hey, I could do this myself. I could go learn how to do this. That's great. This is not going to be for you. But if you're one of those guys that's looking for how do I get a leg up? How do I speed this process along? How do I jumpstart 60 days into the future by working with someone that knows what they're doing on this subject, right? Then it might be the right spot for you to choose AI driven growth partners, right? And so that's what we do here. We're not just using AI, we're built around it. And so if that's you, I want you to go ahead and click on the link and let's book a call and let's do a strategy session. And in that strategy session, we're going to go over your practice, your office, the challenges that you're facing, the goals you're going for. And I'm going to do a deep dive after that call. And I'm going to lay out for you a program on how to achieve that goal, right? I'm going to help you lay out a program for you to achieve that target. This is totally free of charge. This is complimentary. Um, and that's what I would have for you as an offer today for coming to this webinar is to book that strategy session so we can get started on that and start helping you achieving your goals. Okay. So, yeah, so that's going to be our offer here for this webinar. So, if you're here, I appreciate you sticking through to the end. This is awesome. And this is the spot, right? This is the spot where people, there's kind of two different directions to head. We're kind of at a crossroads here. There are some people that are going to come to this webinar, listen to it in the background, and think, wow, that's great. I learned something and move on. And some people are going to be here right now deciding, hey, let's take some action. Let's move on to the next steps. And if that's you and you're here and you're ready to move on to the next step and you're ready to take action, go ahead and click this link here and let's get you booked on a strategy session call. And let's get something started today, right? Let's not wait for the future. Let's get started today. If that's you, this is the spot. This is the crossroads. You're either gonna have come to the webinar and go along with your normal life, or this is going to be a spot where you decide to make a change. Okay. So with that, I just want to see here what questions you guys have. Go ahead and let me know what questions you guys have. How do you make sure AI still sounds like the practice and fits the local market? Okay, this is great. So one of the things that we do when we're working with an office is that we will find out um, what is the unique selling proposition of that office? What makes that office different? What makes Dr. Jones different than Dr. Smith? Why would they come to your office instead of the one down the street, right? And when that happens, we understand the values of your practice, right? And what your practice stands for and what it means to the community. And when we understand that, we can then use that to craft that message. And we go from there of working this content and training this and working with AI to get these right answers. And then we go over that with you. We make sure our message matches up perfectly and that we're all on the same page before we start posting content. That was a great question. What's the most common mistake dentists make when using AI in their marketing? Okay, so I would say first of all, if I see a dentist using AI in their marketing, the first thing I think is good for you. You're out there, you're trying, you're doing it. You don't want to be left behind. You don't want to you don't want to see this AI trend and just think this is a passing phase. It is not a passing phase. It is here for real. It's staying. And if you do not get ahead of this and you do not learn this and you do not start using this, you will get left behind. That is where we're at with AI right now. So the first thing I think when I see somebody using AI is I think, good for you. You're trying, right? A common mistake that I see is not evaluating and iterating. I see someone that gets to the spot where they've kind of written a task and they've given some context and some references and it comes out sounding like AI. And I'm sure that some of you guys have experienced this where you're starting to kind of tell what AI sounds like and that generic AI that's not trained certainly has a certain way of talking. It uses dashes a lot. It talks about discover this, uncover these things. It uses questions that are kind of inappropriate and they don't sound like human beings talking. It's not exactly perfect at that yet. And so what I see is that sometimes a dentist will just, give me some posts, AI spits out an answer, copy paste, we move on with the next thing. And I think that's a mistake. However, I want to say 80% great job on trying to use AI and staying ahead of it. I think that's a great one. Let's see here. We got another question. What's one cool way to use AI in dental marketing that most practice owners don't know about? That's a good question. I think this is a secret I think that most people don't think to do that I think is very important is accepting the fact that AI is here and it's going to continue to be a part of life, and it's going to continue to be a part of business as we go on through the years. I think it's important to understand that you can use AI to train yourself on how to use AI, right? I think there's something to becoming comfortable with the subject. Um, I think that we're not sending out like, patient HIPAA. No, absolutely not. We're not like sending it our patient files or something like that. No way. But I do think there's value to having a team member sit down and say, "Hey, I'm the front desk of a dental office. I would like to use AI to get even better results at my job. How can I use you to produce better results at my position?" And asking AI to teach you how to use AI from your role. And I think that that's a hidden secret that people do not know about in terms of how to use AI, that you can literally just sit down and ask it, "What should I be asking you? What are some things, or what are some use cases that I could get from AI that would help me expand my business or my office?" And I think that we should start to normalize using AI in that way. We should start doing this where this should be something where there should be some, review this with your front desk. Like, obviously, we're not giving patient information or anything else like that. No HIPAA violations, but start to become comfortable with using AI. Sit down with ChatGPT, sit down with Grok, Gemini, whatever. Start to teach me how to use you to do my job better, right? And that's a pretty big secret, because that unlocks a lot of doors, right? Once you've gotten AI to teach you how to use AI, um, that opens a lot of possibilities, right? Just like we talked about at the beginning, you have to have a strategy, right? The first thing is that thought of, what am I doing? What goal do I have? Where do I want to go, right? That's what unlocks down to the nitty gritty of how to write Google Business Profile posts, right? You have to have that plan. You have to have that idea first. And so sometimes using AI as a tool to help brainstorm can be very useful in that regard. Okay. That was a good one. Let's see here. Will the free strategy call be tailored to my practice, or will it be generic? Absolutely, this is going to be a tailored strategy call to your practice. We're going to do a 15-minute call where I'm going to get some information about you, your business. I know you're busy, so we're going to keep it short. Your practice, what challenges you're running into, and what your goals are. And once we have that, I'm going to then go do a deep dive into your competition, your area, what will work, what is not working, what's going on. And then after that, you are going to get a tailored strategy to your business, okay, to your practice, to grow and achieve those goals that you're looking to achieve. Okay. What's the biggest mindset shift dental offices need to have in regards to AI? Okay, that's a great question. So, the biggest shift I would see that people need to make regarding AI in a dental office is that AI is a tool, just like any other dental drill you have, or Cavitron. It's just another tool in the office, and the operator is the one that determines if that tool is useful or not. Okay, whether that tool damages someone or creates an awesome result, right? It's just the tool, and it's going to be up to the operator and how well that operator is trained in using it, or the ideas that the operator has on the outcome that's going to come about it from that. I'm sure you see it all the time, right? The same patient walks into your office that walked into another office. One dentist thought, let's do a 4 surface filling, and the other dentist sees the opportunity to actually really handle the issue for the patient and solve it using their tools. And these are those opportunities. AI is an opportunity, and it's a tool. And it just depends on the operator. That's the biggest mindset shift I think that needs to be made in the dental industry, is that it's here, and we're going to need to use that tool and learn how to use it well. Why do some dental offices stay stuck doing the same marketing when it's just not working? This is a great question. I think that one of the main reasons that I see people stuck doing the same thing is that they lack information. Information is very powerful. And when you have the right information, you can make the right decisions. Okay. And so, one of the things that we do when we're working with an office is that at the end of the month, we're going to review those numbers. How many new patients came in? How many new patients came in from what source? How much production came from those patients from those different sources? Right. And when you have that information, you can make decisions. What I see when I come into an office usually is that the top referrer of patients is unknown, right? They'll come up with a list, and like, here's the 15 new patients this month, you know, uh 5 will be patient referrals, 2 will be from another doctor, and then the other ones will say unknown, maybe it'll say internet, Who knows? And so when you're lacking that tracking, then you're left wondering, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess the marketing was doing something, or I guess I got new patients from somewhere. But if you don't know, you can't make a decision. So the first step is you make a decision to find out that information, to drill down and find out, where are these new patients coming from? How much are these new patients costing me? And how much money are these new patients bringing in, right? It's really simple that way. If you find out that you're doing ad number one, okay, and it's bringing in new patients at $300 each, and they're paying $200 each when they come in, that's a problem. And if you don't have that tracked, you don't know that, right? You need to be able to see what ads are bringing in what patients and what return on investment am I making on those patients. If you don't have that, you're flying totally blind. And so I can see people where they get stuck in, this is just how it is, this is the old ways. And this is where a person comes to the spot where they need to make a change. They make a decision. Hey, I'm moving from how we've been doing it to something different. I have a growth target. And if you have that strategy laid out for your growth target, that's really a big answer to this, right? If you have a target of, I'm trying to get to here, well, then you're going to take a look at where you're at and what results are you getting and what do you need to change to get from here to here. Okay. So that's the main reason why I would see somebody saying suck, is that they're just lacking information. What kind of practice gets the most out of our free marketing strategy call? This is a really simple one. The practice that gets the most out of the free strategy call is the one that's looking to change. They're ready to make a move. They're ready to make a difference. They're ready to stop doing what they've been doing and to do something different. They're tired of where they've been. They're frustrated. They've tried this, they've tried that. They don't know what to do. They're at their wits' end. They're ready to make a move. Those are the guys that are at that crossroads and they're deciding, okay, today I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to keep doing the same thing. I've been doing X for the last 10 years and I'm not where I need to be yet. So it's time to change and I want to do something different. So those are the people that get the most out of these strategy calls. Is if you're ready to change, you're ready to make something happen, you're ready to do something different to achieve a better result and a better outcome. Those are the guys that get the most results. All right. Well, that is all the time that we have for today. So I want to thank you for coming to this webinar. I appreciate you guys hanging out here with me. And I look forward to getting on that strategy call with you. I really encourage you to be that guy that takes that next action, takes action today to move forward, to hit your goal. And I'll see you next time.